We are Witches Who Podcast.
Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Dee. Do you have a fun story for me today?
I don't know about fun because it did not feel fun.
Oh.
Okay. It's kind of weird.
Okay,
And
well, yeah,
maybe, but maybe I'll see if I find a friend out there that this may have occurred to. Or maybe you. Hopefully you.
Ooh, okay. Well, not if it's not fun. Hold on.
I know. Well, so it's weird because it's in the dream space. A lot of things happen in the dream space. And this happened last night. So every night I go to bed, I drink a glass of water, and I go to bed, go through my little prayer and routine that I encourage everyone to have, just go to bed with an intention. But somehow still, I get downloads or I get experiences at night. I always talk about the difference between having an experience and what's a dream. So last night I was flying high on some dream space and I don't even remember now, but I remember there was like a mountain, like I was outside.
Okay.
And I felt very angelic presence around, but just almost like if they were showing me, like if they were selling me a house type of situation, like you're out there and they were like showing me things like for me to consider. But my hands begin to feel like numb, almost like if something really heavy was on my left side, like if something really heavy was like pressing it and then like for a period of time and then you let go and it feels, like that feels numb.
Yeah, like pins and needles.
Yes. And I just, I kind of like felt that like a lot of energy, especially on my left side and my hands. And as we continue on to like this little path and it looked really beautiful, I felt my hands, the pins and needles, but I felt them really hot by my index finger on my left hand. I like looked down and literally like E.T. from home, how he has his finger like
all lit up.
Yes. And it looked like between a rustic red and like an orange, but like my whole finger, not just the tip, like my whole finger.
Interesting.
And it was intense. And I remember this being, but I couldn't really see their face, kind of like turn around and kind of like, oh yeah, like yeah, you're activated or whatever, like something. And I remember looking down a little freaked out, like, okay, feels safe, but what is it gonna fall off?
Yeah.
And suddenly I wake up and I'm like, okay, I just like wake up from that space and I like open my eyes. It's really dark still, but I look at I turn, I can't really see my finger, but I look turn towards my hand and I can feel my finger bite, just the index finger. I didn't have it underneath anything. It was just like under the covers on my chest. And it was just like vibrating so much. And I was like, wait, what is going on? And I just felt like this glow on my hand.
What?
I know, but the finger, even just talking about it, my fingers like bzzz.
Yeah.
So that was really weird. So I'm like, but it's not the first time where I have woken up if I'm doing something in the astral where I wake up like sore or, tight in the body. But this was just with the color. And I don't know if it may have been that I was talking with a friend yesterday about like root chakra stuff and the color red. I don't know, but there was no other reason why that finger, like all the energy was intensified to the left middle finger. Maybe I'm pointing too much. I know.
I wonder, what does it mean?
What does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, like your nervous system was responding to whatever was going on in the astral realm. That's super fascinating.
Yeah, and it has happened also in the past where sometimes I am in those situations where I'm like in the astro doing something and then I realize I'm all like, crooked on the side and laying. I'm like, oh, well, this is influencing that.
Yeah.
But this time there was nothing.
You were literally laying on your back. Interesting. Yeah, I've had that happen to me too before where I like realize that like I'm all crunched up or something weird. And I'm like, oh, let me, adjust or whatever.
Yeah. No.
Oh, what a perfect segue into what we're talking about today. But before that, I'm Shelby.
I am Dee.
And we are Witches Who Podcast. And do you want to introduce what this episode is about?
Yes. We're going to talk all about the dream world, symbolism, meanings, and anything and everything you can imagine. So
Yes, I'm excited. Let's just
I know.
dive in dream world. So I love your story, first of all, because it's like, is that a dream? Was it an experience?
Yeah.
Or was it this other laundry list of things that we have prepared to talk about?
I know. And I am one to have very vivid dreams, and I can like detailed. I can smell. I
Yeah.
can. I've tasted in this, and I know people say I don't know a lot about the dream space. That's why I'm fascinated, because I know you have a lot of insight into it. But I've heard in the past of like, don't drink anything ever in the dream space and this and that, and I'm all like, "Ugh, I have, you know, and had lucid dreams as well, and but yeah, I'm interested to dive in.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's just drive it into dream worlds. Like there's so many different types of dreams, right? There's and then also like how do you analyze that dream? What does it mean? Like is it your subconscious talking to you? Is it an experience? Is it a vision or a message from your guides? Like, you know, did we provoke this by what happened in our, you know, day to day? Different stuff like that. But I think there's also like the other end of it where it's like, yes, we could probably break it down and get real scientific and whatever about it. But there's also this element still of mystery, you know, because we can't really prove it, any of it, honestly. I mean, to a certain degree, right? But but how do you explain lucid dreams? How do you explain astral projection? How do you explain all these different phenomenons that's happening? You know, there's premonitions. Right?
Yeah.
How do you explain that? How do you explain, you know, nightmares and like my poor husband's night terrors and sleepwalking and all of these things, sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
What else? You know, are they messages from your guides? There's daydreams, day visions, you know, when you just like zone out and you're like, whoa, where did I go for a moment? Reoccurring dreams. Like how do you like differentiate where these come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think at the end, it's what resonates with you, because like my husband, he's really into, every time I talk about dreams, like, oh, you have to read the book. I think it's the Book of Dreams by Freud.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, probably will give me some sort of insight. But also this is like, I don't know if we can ever get to the exact root of like, you had that dream because this is exactly what's going to happen in your life.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a like individual.
I agree.
But it's good to have a little bit of a guideline or a little foundation to be like, oh, okay, you know, like
This could be this.
yeah,
or,
like, you know, the lion, I was like really dreaming about the lion. And then the next day I saw like all these lion signs. And it kind of brings in some, just what resonates with one when you see certain the symbolism in dreams. But you mentioned something before we went on the air to about some symbolism that we really need to pay attention to, and that just got me super curious. I was like, okay, what is that?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit also what you're talking about. So I'm going to go through like some symbolism that I think a lot of us probably has experienced before, just very like mundane things that pop up in our dreams that can have, that can have a deeper meaning. I am one that really believes that your dreams, I mean, you should pay attention to them. And I always like suggest a dream journal to like almost all of my clients. And I'm really bad about keeping a dream journal, because if I don't wake up and immediately start writing, I'm going to forget my dream. And then throughout the day, I'll get these little like visions or just like little flashbacks of like, oh, that was part of my dream. I need to go write it down or whatever. It's super interesting that way. But yeah, so I did some research on my phone, of course. And I also have gone through, so being in the field that I'm in, I work a lot with dreams, the dream state, the astral realm. And a lot of people will have reoccurring dreams their whole lives.
Yeah.
And be like, what the heck is this? Or they'll have dreams that were like this, it was so real. And there could be a correlation between that feeling versus, you know, past lives or different things like that.
It's so interesting they say that because you just trigger memory.
Ooh.
Which when you're talking about dream journal, I'm like, oh, I'm so bad at it. And then I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to voice text.
Oh, good idea.
And just do like voice notes of it. But since I was a kid, I've had this recurring dream before. It was pretty often of like, it would be like tomahawks, like like I will be looking like there was some war or something going on. And as a little kid, I will look up and I will see it falling from the sky.
How
and
scary.
I'm under and I'm just like trying to see where is it going to fall so I can dodge it. Like if I could dodge that tomahawk coming to like explode everything, right? But I've had a recurring dream also of seeing airplanes dropping bombs, and I'm looking up and I'm running. Like I'm running and I'm just trying to like know if I'm gonna run right or left. And it's so interesting. Okay.
Gosh, we have to do a regression. So interesting. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through these and then we can like talk about them and like see like has this happened to you. So I researched and I wrote down I think eight different symbols that I thought were just worth, you know, talking about. Okay. So have you ever had a dream about teeth where that's like the main? I've heard this one a lot where like you dream your all of your teeth falling out and stuff like that, or teeth breaking or whatever. Actually, these kind of teeth dreams, according to ancient Egypt, were considered a bad omen. Oh, yeah, it's super interesting. But some experts say that teeth dreams connect the dreamer to personal loss, anxiety, death of a loved one, or it'll like trigger a major life change, like something like is coming up that's gonna change your whole life.
Oh, it's so funny because when my grandpa died, I think it was like a day or two before, I had a dream with not that my teeth were falling, but they were hurting a lot, like if they were going to like fall off.
Yeah.
And then this must have been like, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I was so weirded out by teeth. I was like, why don't we have these exposed bones? This is so weird. Like but I think I had a dream around the teeth that I woke up being like, it's weird. These bones.
Funny.
Like,
yeah, that is,
it's weird.
It is a weird concept, teeth.
And I kept rubbing my tongue on my teeth and being like, this feels weird. Why teeth?
How funny.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, teeth are weird. They symbolize death, apparently. So yeah, it says many people report losing their teeth and when someone close to them dies. Like in a dream, obviously. Yeah.
And it's so funny because when we die, like you find skulls now with their teeth.
Yeah, your teeth never go away. Like they're bones, right? Like you just said. Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. So if you're dreaming about teeth, maybe just pay a little close attention. Not saying you're going to dream about teeth and now everything around you is going to die. So don't read it too far into that. Yeah. And like we said earlier, I think it's all relative to it's a personal experience. So this is just like a broad, you know, scope of lots of people's encounters, you know, that we've averaged. Okay, so crashes, like car crashes. Yeah, anything about crashing the car, falling out of the car, just crashing in general, like crashing into another person, stuff like that. Usually is like psychic elements that are attached to them. It brings attention to your own personal drive or path ahead where you're going to encounter some problems. Oh, yeah. So like, you know, airplane crashes. I've had that reoccurring dream a few times where I'm like in an airplane and it's starting to go down and I'm the only one that knows. Oh, everybody else is just like, this is a weird feeling. I'm like, you guys were falling out of the sky. Why is nobody panicking right now? Like I've had that dream a lot. So that's super interesting. I don't know. Think about that one.
I can remember, I should say, if I dream about crashing. Definitely teeth.
Yeah. So like it's symbolizing setbacks, failed attempts at your goal or towards your goals, relationships, personal movements. So like just like a hard stop, essentially. Like there's going to be some kind of,
got it.
You know? So I don't know. Yeah, interesting. Snake bites. Oh. So not all snakes are considered to be a bad omen. A lot of them are actually a sign of rebirth, right? Or healing. But in certain cultures, Cold-blooded reptiles, so not even just snakes, show up in your dreams as a forewarning, implying you might be around something very dangerous.
You know what? One time a long time ago, I had a dream where a snake bit me.
Okay, that's another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so snakes in general, but biting. Okay, so there's questions that come along with it. Is like, did the venom enter your bloodstream? Do you know where did it bite you? Like, you can get really in depth. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if it was like an unknown strike, but it has the ability to metaphorically attack your central nervous system.
Ugh.
Yeah, so altering like your well-being. So that
thank you.
kind of correlates a little bit to like what we'll talk about a little bit later with like psychic attacks.
Yeah.
You can literally like, if you're an avid lucid dreamer, you can use the dream state to, and this is probably like, do not do this, but you can use the dream state to tap into other people. So one, energetic protections.
Yeah.
Huge when you go to sleep. Don't leave your dream space wide open for anybody to just crawl right in there.
Yeah. That's why I'm probably very crazy and weird about I tell my husband, I was like, you don't understand. Like when I go to bed, it's like a whole thing. He's just thinking like, let's cuddle up and watch a movie or, something and fall in. I'm like, no, I need to like fall into my sleep protected.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. And there's like also stuff that you can do around like protection, like different crystals, like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, don't sleep with the windows open. Because you're letting energy in and out unless you have barriers like salt or tourmaline or selenite or something like that. I've also heard different crystals like mango calcite or mangano calcite will help absorb like negative dream state or psychic attacks in that. Also like dream catchers, like the Native American dream catchers.
Yeah. Oh, I've been wanting one. The kids have some and I'm going to go steal theirs.
I have one on both sides of my bed and a huge one on my wall.
Ooh.
And Christian even said that I need to cleanse them. So that's the other thing is like they get filled up, and you gotta sage them and stuff like that. But that's the Native American tradition is like the negative dreams or negative spirits get stuck in the webbing of the dream catcher. And Christian did say like that he noticed a difference.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But even if it's all placebo, like
I know,
who cares?
No,
You know what I mean?
I probably need to clean the boys. But that is fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So rats are considered one of the worst dream symbols you can experience.
Oh, okay.
And I'm getting all this, like I have researched multiple sources and I put this together. Like, it's not like I'm just going off of one experience. I also did a lot with, I've done a lot of shamanic work. And so through that, it's heavy into the dream stuff. So rats. Okay. So they can be a serious issue they can symbolize a serious issue in your life, that you've either neglected or someone in your life is showing up as the rat. Ugh. So like only good dreams about rats are like when they are killed by the dreamer or they leave. If it's like scurrying out of your home or running away from you, that can be considered a good thing.
Okay.
But 9 times out of 10, no, you don't want to dream about a rat. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. They love to find their way inside our houses, usually leaving excrement or noticing a rat infestation. Since the house is symbolic for dreamers, it kind of usually will symbolize like your mind, like the home. If you dream of like that is your home or something that you feel is supposed to be your home, that's usually like your subconscious, which is have you ever had that dream where you're inside like a home or like your childhood home or your home and like all the doors seem to be leading to different places it's your mind. It's symbolizing your brain, like how your conscious is working.
You know what? I've heard that about the home and the brain. That is true. I totally forgot
Super
about
interesting. Yeah. Where you open a door and it's like leading to something else. And it's like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be my bedroom, but it's like this vast outdoor thing. It's like, that's a part of your subconscious.
Oh, awesome.
Isn't that so fascinating?
That.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So pay attention to the rats.
The rats.
Yeah. There's some inner work to be done. People to be skeptical about them rats, Okay, the next one is cockroaches.
Oh,
yeah. Obviously, it's just a gross insect, but it symbolizes that you need to be prepared for a fight.
Oh my God.
I know. Isn't that super interesting? So it's
Interesting.
a symbol to investigate your personal shadow, like the dark side of your personality, your impulses, your urges and behaviors may be running amok. Yeah. Yeah. They may
Okay.
also appear to be troubling negative thoughts that eat away at your positive energy.
Dang.
The best cockroach to find would be a dead one. If you dream of a dead cockroach, good call.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit deeper. So, a child in danger.
Oh.
Yeah. So this can be very vast in what it's, I mean, all of this can of what it is symbolizing, but it wants you to notice maybe either a childhood trauma. So is this child you? Is it, what's it's crying out for attention essentially. So it's all kind of rooted around attention. They want you to rescue them. Why? So that's kind of where we get into this is past childhood traumas. It can also resonate as hindering your personal development. So there's something in the way that's hindering your personal development. And then here there's like a lot of stuff you can do. So this is like kind of a lot of where I do a lot of work with hypnosis.
Got it.
Where we can regress through childhood traumas.
Yeah.
And this is where reoccurring dreams come up. This is where so this is a big reason why I ask people to set up their dream journals so that we can kind of trend it and see like, okay, what are some reoccurring themes that are popping up? Is this coming from childhood? Is this coming from a past life? Like how can we figure out where this is coming from so we can move through this so you can get some actual sleep, right?
Yeah.
And that's where regression work comes in, and it's fascinating. Okay, natural disasters.
Oh, I have dreamed about natural disasters.
I think this is Christian's like whole life right here. This poor guy in the dream state. Yeah. But it's symbolizing being prepared for the unexpected. Like we need to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's, could be a metaphoric city, metaphoric, situation that you're in, but it's taking cover, being diligent and preparing for something.
I used to dream a lot. And also my really good friend, who I will see in a few weeks. Oh, actually in like a week, about water, like tsunamis. And what is really interesting, I dreamt with her that we were in that tsunami together, and then we survive. Each time we survive.
Wow.
And I dream about just like sitting and just like seeing this wave kind of like about, and I'm on the bottom. And it's just like terrifying. But then there's a moment where I know you can't do anything. Like you can't run or do anything. And at that moment, I just close my eyes and I'm like, I surrender. And then I usually kind of like wake up and yeah, but it's
what's super funny? Like I have crazy dreams like that all the time, but I'm never scared because I'm always aware that I'm dreaming. Always. And that's like the definition of a lucid dream. I know I'm dreaming and I'm just like, cool, this is where I die. So the second I die, I'm going to snap to another dream.
Yeah.
Like I literally, that is my thought process while I'm going through this dream. It's so wild.
Yeah.
Like I've never really woken up scared from a dream or anything like that because I just knew it was, I know that this is not my current reality.
Nice.
It's so
you have
strange.
so much more control over it.
Yeah. It's super weird.
Yeah. No, I woken up like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, just like out of breath. And it's like, oh my gosh. And sometimes I will know it's a dream, but I can't get up.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. I hate that. I've had that
and
too.
then I'm like, oh, finally got up. Yeah. Okay.
Or I'll have dreams where like I'm falling and I'll have that sensation like I'm falling and then I'll like jolt awake.
Yeah.
But I knew I was dreaming still, but it was still like my body reacted. It was that's super strange. I do that actually quite a bit. Okay. So one of my last ones that I was trending is the feminine threat. So women, this is more common in women than anything else, tend to experience like bears in their dream. Does that symbolize men? I've seen this one so many times. Unless like, so this is symbolizing like you're in a very toxic relationship. It doesn't even necessarily mean it's with a man. It could be like your mother-daughter relationship. Usually once you provoke or challenge whatever this entity is, a lot of times I've seen the bear more than anything, but it can be anything that's trying to like overpower you or anything like that. Once you try to provoke it, it attacks you. So it's like retaliation. Yeah. And so there's like a lot here. So women who pose a threat or danger in your own life.
Oh,
And then they can metaphorically morph into different like feminine symbols. So
okay.
it doesn't even have to be like a physical entity. It can pop up as symbolism like in your dream. So one that I would see a lot is the triple goddess. And I would remember just like kind of going through my dream, like looking at a bookshelf and seeing the triple goddess. And then I would connect that to like just a rocky relationship that I've noticed, like, oh, and usually if it's female symbolism, it's a female dynamic relationship.
Wow. Interesting.
Super interesting.
I've dreamt with a bear. I definitely have, but it's always like it's been my friend. I've dreamt with a bear where it looks like I'll be like in a cabin or something, or I'll be in the woods and I see it and it like will startle me, but then like it just like growls and there's like, hey,
Yeah.
goes away, or is my friend, or we're by the river or something.
Interesting. Yeah, there's so much to this dream space. And there's so much symbolism to like that's just a very basic like kind of list that I've noticed and come up with. But there's seriously so much like different animals that show up that mean something. And it's also like, what does that symbolize for you? Like I often dream of flowers. There's always a flower somewhere in my dream. And for me, that really is symbolizing that like my guides are near, like my grandparents are near. And like I always find comfort. If I see a rose, I'm like, okay, like I'm safe.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And there's also really wonderful dreams. So those are like some of the ones that are like, okay, like what does this mean? But there's also ones like the rose that symbolize good things, you know, or, you know, lots of different stuff like that. And so to touch on a little bit what you said earlier with you're not supposed to drink anything in your dreams. Was that before we jumped on here?
No, we were just talking about it.
Okay. Yes. So I've heard this across so many different like views. And my favorite one is you're never supposed to drink or eat anything in a dream space because in my culture, like Celtic druidry, down that path it's the Fae realm. So you're very close to the Fae realm, and fairies and the Fae are they're tricky, right? Yeah. They're very mischievous and they want to get you. And a lot of Fae like species are bad. Like they want to bring you back to their realm and keep you there. So by accepting their beverage or food or their offering, you are saying it is okay for them to basically kidnap you. And you are ingesting this item and you're going to be stuck in the dream realm. I know. And so it's funny because it's not funny at all. You don't want to get stuck there. But we know in our reality, you can't get stuck there. I mean, there's comas and stuff like that, but like that's a physical body situation, right? But there are also like things that you can do to protect yourself, like literally energetic weapons.
Yeah.
Through this, like for that, like in folklore, in Celtic folklore, it's you always have like something iron on you. So you always imagine like you're wearing iron bracelets, or you have like, especially if you're lucid dreaming where you can truly control, you're just like, oh, I have an iron sword in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like you can like really like create it for yourself.
Make it appear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. But yeah, there's lots of different things, but I just wanted to talk about that one because I thought I really wanted to share that fun little piece.
Yeah, that is crazy. My goodness, I probably have a cozy home in the dream space somewhere with the Fae, because not like, you know, all the time I'm drinking something, but I have been like, I have drinking stuff in the past. So.
Yeah. It's like Alice in Wonderland, drink me, and then you fall down the rabbit hole, you know?
Oh my gosh, yes. So creepy. I love that movie and it's so creepy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Totally. Yeah. And so like the big difference too between like astral projection, because I get this question too all the time, astral projection versus lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming, you are aware you're dreaming. I know I said that earlier. You're aware and you are able to manipulate your dream and actually make decisions in your dream. Astral projection is kind of similar, sort of. You're not 100% in control with astral projection. And you are separating your spirit body from your physical body, like consciously.
Yeah.
Okay, Tucker.
Hi, Tucker. He just joined us.
Yeah, so you're actively like pulling your spirit out of your body.
Okay.
And you can fly around in.
But astral project, you're intentionally going to consciously set up to project.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
It's not like I'm gonna go to sleep at night and just fell
Exactly.
asleep.
It's
It's just
not
like
dreaming.
I'm going. Okay.
Yeah, you're not dreaming. You're in a different state of consciousness, which is similar to the dream state, but it's a practice. Like you are literally projecting your spirit body out of your physical body. And if you've ever done any like astral projection practices, like one of the big things is turning around and looking at your physical body,
Oh,
like while you're laying there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Yes. I did an astral project. My gosh, this was like in the 90s. I think I was like 17 or 18. And one of my friends at her home, and I don't even know, I probably got so many attachments there because she was like guiding, like she was going to guide us each she was teaching us how to astral project. But I do remember I had this cord attached to my body, and it was really bright and I just knew that you couldn't cut that. But I remember I was laying
the
on
silver
this
cord or
couch.
whatever.
Yeah, it was a silver. It was just like this platinum color, and I remember looking like floating in a way, the sense, and looking back, and I can tell you right now, I was laying on this green velvet couch with a golden yellow blanket that I was covered. This was actually happening like that. Those were the colors. And I remember I kind of freaked out as soon as I saw that and kind of like went back. And then she's like, no, you're like, she's guiding me. And
what did she tell you to do? Like, how did she guide you through like that projection?
I remember it was like a deep meditation. So this back then I was not as conscious, and I was thinking, I was interested in it, but I kind of had shut down any abilities and things. So I think it was just like through a really deep meditation, but I can't remember exactly. It's so interesting. I remember like the things that happened, but I don't even remember like her voice right now. I can't remember exactly what she had said, but I remember she guided me back, like, because I went back in, like she knew. I don't even know how she knew that I freaked out. Almost like I feel now saying it, I feel like she's sitting down, she's seeing me as she's seeing a movie. Almost like if she could see, I don't know. That's the feeling that I get. But I remember then I went back and did it, and I got as far as like she guided me. I remember like through stages, because then I was like above the ceiling and like things like that, like above. And then I was like, because we were in TJ in Tijuana in Mexico at my friend's house. And then I was like, she was saying, and I remember I got as far as like seeing the world, and I'm in the universe. And then from there I freaked out and came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's so,
it felt so real.
It does.
Okay.
I've facilitated meditations like that before, and it is like a base level astral projection. Totally.
Yeah, I've done meditations like that as well, but they're not like this
as deep.
Failed. Like you guide, both of us being yoga instructors and meditators, we guide them as like, see yourself or visualize yourself, and then look, look at yourself laying on your mat. It's different when you have this real like visceral sensation of like, that's just the vessel. That's just the body.
It's an out of body experience.
And if you're not like protected, I've heard that somebody else can come and get into your body.
I've heard
if you don't
that
have
too.
The cord. I forgot the name.
Well, if you're not
invaders.
there's like a whole thing. I don't remember. Yeah, but it's literally like you're leaving your body empty essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still have the tether. Like your tether's still there. You just can't get it back into your body.
Yeah. So I think that's what kind of like
freaks you out a little bit. Yeah, you definitely, energetic protections 100%. Your white light field, all that stuff is super important. But yeah, so I'll do like in like classes, like group classes, I'll do like the ones like what you're talking about of like view yourself, do this, do that. But if we're working one-on-one, you really want to astral project, there's a couple of different techniques that like I found that are really powerful. And the first one is going deeper into that like basic area. So of like feeling, you go through the entire body sensation, like a yoga nidra, right? Relax the physical body. You're entering into a trance state now. And then you can literally like start to feel your spirit body. So feeling the sensations and start to use those sensations and shifting the energy around your body. So it's like, feel your spirit body in your body, feel it on the right side of your body. Now shift the spirit body, and it's just all sensation.
Yeah.
Shift it to the right side of the body. You know, shift it down low, lower half of your body. Shift it up top, feel it in your head. And now start to feel all of it at the same time as you're vibrating. And now lift the spirit body up out of your body.
Oh, dang.
Feel yourself hovering.
Yeah.
So now you're feeling the sensation, like that gap between, you know, so it's like almost like a magnetic feeling. And that's when I'll ask you, okay, now lift up your hand, look at your hand. And then that is like, okay, did you lift up? And sometimes they will lift their physical hand, and then I'm like, all right, they're not deep enough.
Yeah.
And then I'll, you know, ask the question, like, what do you see or whatever? If I'm like, are you lifting your hand? They say yes, and they're low. I'm like, okay, we're in.
Yeah.
We got this. And then cueing them up and out of the body, turn around, look at the body, and then fill in every detail of your body, not just the clothes you're wearing and seeing yourself, but look at the wrinkles on your face. Look at the eye, like how the expression on your face, the position of your foot, the blanket, and then detail the room, like really deep details. And then depending on where you are, like walking outside and getting really detailed about what outside looks like. And then you start to float upward, get detailed bird's eye view, and then you could go higher and higher and higher and higher until you are in that cosmic, you know, like above the earth, above the atmospheres, and then you can travel. And you can pick a new point on the map, right? Or you can go to different planets or whatever.
Fascinating.
So that's one, but it takes a long time. Another one that I use because I've done this before, and I think it's faster and easier if you're familiar. Obviously, I know you are with the chakra system. Your chakras are said to be these plexuses, these energetic plexuses, right up and down the spinal cord, which there is theory now where that is where a bunch of nerve endings physically are in your body.
I heard that.
It's super fascinating. So there's also this meditation that's like chakra spinning. Have you ever heard of it?
Chakra spinning. Okay.
So if you think about the way the chakras work, so like your root chakra is like at the very base of the spine, right? That's like your hard security connection to home, right? So you start from the top and you work your way down. So what I do is you imagine your chakras spin, right? Clockwise. So if you want to open them up and do some work on them or whatever, you spin them the opposite direction, right? So you do this, you go into each one and you spin it the opposite direction. And you just imagine the color or however you imagine the chakra to be, and you just start spinning it, open it the opposite direction, counterclockwise. And you do that until you feel that sensation that it's open, and then you move on to the next one. And you keep moving on, and they're all spinning counterclockwise until you get to, usually I stop at solar plexus. Because at that point, that's your waist, right? You can sit up at that point. So you're tethered down with the solar plexus, your sacral, and your root chakra. Can you sit up out of your body? And then you're sitting up, you're still tethered with the lower three, and you're kind of, can you look around?
So you only have open from the plexus up? Okay.
So then you're still grounded in your body.
And root, you're deep,
and it feels
grounded.
a little safer, right? And then you're like, okay, I don't like this, I'm going back down.
Or,
okay, I'm okay. I'm going to backwash, I'm going to backspin. And keep going until I can stand up.
Okay. So if they tell you like, yes, I can sit up, and it's just the energy body sitting up, you're like, okay, we're good. How do you feel? Like they're like, I'm good to go.
Done it. I've never done this one with a person. This is my personal that I'll do while I'm in meditation.
Wow. Oh, that is awesome.
It works. Like for me, it works because I'm just imagining and then you start to feel that backward sensation, and then it just becomes like that automatic sensation, and then you just then you get really used to it. So if you practice it like consistently, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Something interesting to know with the chakras is, they all spin clockwise, but actually men's and women's spin, some of them for both spin in a different, some of them clockwise, some of them counterclockwise. That's just kind of like the, when the body is in the well-being, it's natural to spin counterclockwise. But I always tell my students, like, just to be safe, always spin them clockwise. If you're anything, just clockwise, especially because when we spin them counterclockwise and we're opening, and they don't know, if there's not enough protection or this and that, it can be more detrimental.
Oh, and now that you say that too, is like when you come back, you need to put them all back.
Oh yeah, make sure to
make sure that you like
seal them.
consciously like
close them
back up and go back clockwise and like feel like.
So what is the purpose of that particular meditation?
What the
chakra spinning
to astral project? It's just quicker for me. It's just quicker. So if I can kind of just run through them real quick and then pop out if I'm already down in meditation in the trance, right?
You know, right now that you're talking, it's so interesting. I have a little bit of a ping of a headache on my on my right eye. It's just energy point. I figure. But when I go into do remote viewing, I get into a meditative state and I make sure all my chakras are aligned and getting in that deep. And so right now with that spinning, I was like, oh, this may be maybe a quicker way even.
What is the difference in astral projection and remote viewing?
I think it's the same thing.
Is it?
Well,
I'm asking. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking because astral project, what do? You go and look at places, right?
Yeah.
Remote viewing, you go and look at places. It's just very specific. Maybe astral project, you go and like, hey, I'm gonna go here, or here, there. Usually for me, if I'm going to remote view, I have a plan of where I'm going, what my intention is, like that place, that part, like, and I can send myself there and be in that particular time and space. Also at that time, because you can remote view to the past and into the future.
Oh, that's fascinating.
But you can astral project, I'm pretty sure, to the past, into the future. I know I'm a little bit of a, I don't know. And this is the other thing, like I can do remote viewing and, you know, I have my tethered as well, but I'm more scared of astral project.
Interesting.
I know. I just realized that. Like if you told me astral project, I was like, okay, let me see, let me feel. Okay. With you, I probably would do it, but remote view, I do on my own.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
talk about weird.
That is weird. That's interesting though. But yeah, it's so fascinating. I just love all this stuff so much. But with that, like you can take control too. So like even in the lucid dream state, like so astral projection, you're consciously doing it, but in the dream state, like you're forced into this scenario like that you're not in control of. Yeah. All you can do is control like what you're doing in the lucid dream state, right? I've actually been lucid dreaming where I kind of can change the reality because I recognize that this is all my consciousness. Yeah. And I like can shift the whole dream where I'm like, you know what? This isn't going the way I want it to. I'm leaving and I'm out of this dream.
I've done that too. Yeah. How do you leave? Do you remember?
Oh, that's a good, I feel like I just close my eyes.
Okay. Always a door appears for me.
Oh, how funny. I'm pretty sure I'm just like, bye. And I just close my eyes. I'm out. Like,
I used to be like, I no longer want to be here. And suddenly I'm just like somewhere else. Yeah. But I don't know if I've kind of done a little bit more of control with it, where even if it's like I've been in places where it's like a volcano erupting and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like this, I think you sent me to the wrong one. Right.
Yeah.
And a door's there. Like, I don't, and
interesting.
Outside, there's like a door and I'm just like, boop, and pop myself in.
Interesting.
I know.
Have you ever heard the theories about like the staircases to nothing in the middle of the forest?
Was I talking to you? No.
I don't know. But there's usually, I don't know where I read that somewhere, but I always read about like these random doors that would show up. And so I thought that was super fascinating. I don't know where the door thing came from for me though. I'm wondering if I dreamt it and it was just like this reoccurring dream that I just thought was real. Yeah. And so then I came across, I think maybe it was a podcast. I don't even know. Okay. That was all about like these staircases to nowhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is giving me like the door to nowhere dream, like scenario. And I couldn't find anything about it.
But what is this door to nowhere? Because I have had dreams where I find that like the door opens and I am going deep,
like down.
Yeah. But I think these begin to happen after my relationship with the fungi and mycelium and my fascination for mycelium and how it runs underneath the earth and it's like the most incredible thing. So I don't know. I think around that time that I felt the connection with the mycelium. that I begin to dream more of like under the earth, like
Okay.
going deep
Yeah.
into the earth, but not so much of like the earth. It's almost like the underworld in a sense,
Yes.
but not in the like a negative underworld
Yes,
connotation
totally.
that we have.
Yeah, like so in the shamanic realm, there's the three worlds, right? There's the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the lower world is the earth. It's
Yeah.
it's like animals. It's that deep connection we have to the earth. And then the upper world obviously is cosmic, and the middle world is where we reside physically. So it's super fascinating that you're literally going through like a shamanic journey and
not knowing it.
not even
I was
knowing
like,
it.
hey, door, yes.
Because
but it
that's what I'll
feels-
do. I'll take people like, okay, imagine a door, a door from nowhere, just a door frame and a door. What does it look like? We get really specific about it. Okay, now feel the door handle, or is it a knob, a handle, whatever. Feel it in your hand, open the door and see the staircase going down.
Yeah.
That's literally what I do, like to help people get down in there.
And it's so interesting because when it had happened that I'm going down, it's always in like a redwood forest, and the door's in the like in a tree, like
Oh.
it's gigantic. And like I opened the door and it's in the tree. Not always, actually. Right now that I said that, not always. Sometimes I'll just open a door and I just know that I'm
Going
like,
down.
yeah.
Funny. I always imagine just a door float, like literally just a door. Like
Yeah. That's how it
nothing around
appears. Yeah. That's how it appears. Like in that volcano, that one with the volcano, I remember it must have been like prehistoric times of some sort,
Interesting.
because suddenly I felt so warm, like, just
like
like
hot,
hot.
yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be here. And there was this like door, but it wasn't even floating. It was like a door, and I was like, oh, bye. Went in.
Yeah.
Like I just knew like that was going
That's how
I
you
did
get
not
out.
question it.
Yeah.
How is this door here? Am I going crazy? Am I got nothing? I was just like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, it's super weird stuff, but it's fun and cool and probably means something. Less like everything else.
I'm trying to describe my life right now, and figure out my life, that I'm like, I don't want to try to figure out my dreams. I'm kidding.
Like maybe not right now. Had enough. Had enough. Yeah, so I think that there's so much to this dream world and so much stuff you can do with it. And also sometimes I don't want to dream at all and I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? Like insomnia is real. And there's also like the anxiety and the fear around sleep because you don't know what's going to happen, or you don't know what's going to show up in your dream state. Or, like Christian, like he has gnarly night terrors and he's somnambulistic. So he sleepwalks and has these interactive dreams. So like, I don't even know, but he also sleeps, like he can go to sleep. Like he falls asleep so easy. But like, if that was me, I would be like, forget it. I'm not going to sleep, because that's when bad things happen to me. You know what I mean? So I see that a lot too, like in client, with my clients too, is that the insomnia is coming from not maybe necessarily something that's going on outside, but it's the dream space. They're scared of what's showing up there, which is a translation of what's happening on the outside, right? Or what's happening in your waking state. But that fear and anxiety around sleep causes insomnia.
Yeah.
So then there's,
true.
lots of different tools you can do.
And I know a lot of people get insomnia because they're stressed.
Stress is a huge one.
And they just, they're like, I can't sleep. And they're trying to figure out life in the middle of the night. And and
that's like,
and it's so funny because my husband will get like that sometimes, like something will worry him. And he's just like, I couldn't sleep. I was up. And there's, I'm going to totally butcher it, but I think it may have been Maria Sabina, who is like the mother of the mushroom down in Mexico. And very wise woman. And she did a lot of poetry, and she's was very, very connected to the earth. But I think she had a poem where it said, like, if you cannot sleep, get up. And I can't remember. It's really beautiful, but she's like, if you cannot sleep, get up. It may have been just native, also maybe a Native American who may have said this, so don't quote me, but it was like, get up.
Yeah.
Go clean your house. Like go start the fire. Like go do all these things. And that always stuck with me. So I rarely have insomnia, but I had insomnia a couple of days ago where I started like started to think of like all these things. My son got a new job, and I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, is he gonna remember to do this? Is he? He's still my little baby, and it's like, further away and things like that. And I'm just going like worrying on something that is not real.
Yeah.
And I catch myself. And I was like, oh, no. I'm not going to spend, it was probably 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm not going to spend hours here thinking of nonsense or that I'm trying to put out into the universe. I'm not. So I was like, I'm just going to meditate and visualize how I want my life to look. And it felt so good. And I felt like,
Wow,
so
nice.
I was like, yes, why would I?
How funny.
I'm like, we
What a
have
good
the power
process.
to shift that.
Totally.
Right? It's like
Absolutely.
you may be worrying about anything. You can't do anything about it. You're in bed. It's 3 a.m., right? Or whatever that time is.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if you're not going to stop thinking about it?
Yeah.
If I was, let's say I couldn't have the willpower to shift that, or wasn't able to shift that.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone up and gone to do something productive.
Yeah, totally.
Because I'm like, this is not going to take, I'm like, I'm going to let this ruin my sleep.
Yeah, totally.
And I get really cranky if I don't get good night's sleep. So I was just like, no.
Yeah,
So
that's
interesting.
a great tool too. Like, and that's something that I'll give clients too for like integration is something called, something we'll do together. It's called the swoosh method. And I don't know if I've just shared this with you before, but you're visualizing your ideal situation, your ideal outcome, ideal self, whatever it is. You can do it for multiple things. Like for something like this, it would be like the ideal outcome.
Okay.
And you're visualizing what that looks like for yourself. Like for your son, like what does it look like? What on you? He got up on his own. He's got everything together. Now visualize you feeling that. So what does that look like? You feel, what's your facial expression look like? What are you wearing? Like, what does it feel like to be in total trust that your son has got his shit together? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you visualize that, and then you replace it. And then you visualize yourself current state, not being able to sleep, worried, hair's a mess, whatever it is. And then what you'll do is you'll bring this other person, the ideal person, back and throw it into the other one. So you're crashing it, you're swooshing it. So you're swiping away the old and exacerbating the new.
Wow.
And you can just do that over and over and over again, where you're literally just doing this cycle of getting rid of the old, pulling in the new, and over and over and over again, until you can't even remember what the old one looked like.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's, we'll do that. And it's obviously, this is like a very, like, not a great way of explaining it, but when you're in trance and under hypnosis, this is extremely impactful. And then you can do it. I send people home doing it in the morning, at night, and like constantly doing this over and over and over again. But that's a method you could do in the middle of the night when you wake up and you're like, all right.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of tools. This is just something I did that worked for me, but I know there's like breathing techniques that people can do, or sensations like, count,
I loved EFT.
EFT, things like that. I was just like, I had no time for even any of that. I'm just like, I need to sleep. I'm like, I'm going to shift this.
Counting sheep that never freaking works.
Yeah.
What's really funny for me? This is just being a yoga teacher. Something that works for me is I create sequences in my head.
Oh, yeah.
And it totally works. I'm like, we're going to start in child's pose. And I'm like, I start creating that puzzle of like that sequence of poses and like transitions. And I go right to sleep.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Oh, I love that. I may have to try that
It totally
at some
works.
point. Hopefully I don't have to try it because I sleep like a
Exactly.
baby. But on that note, of course, the intention when you're going to go to bed, like sometimes we just really want to sleep. And one thing that I think I've shared it before in the podcast is to go to bed with the intention to get rest and healing.
Yeah.
Those two little words have really done remarkable work for my clients. And they're like, I got a better night's sleep just by rest and healing.
Yeah.
That way, you just know that it's important. Our sleep space is super important.
I think you told me one time that I know you always set an intention when you go to bed, but the position that you're sleeping in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
So, well, this may bring us into sleep paralysis and all those other fun things. But so I love, and for everyone, it's always so good to, if you're a side sleeper, sleep on your left side because your digestive system works better than if you're sleeping on the right. I remember
my husband told me that like 2 days ago. He's like, you've been sleeping a lot on your left side. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just like because I always sleep on my right side, like facing out, like the edge of the bed. I have to face the edge of the bed for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But lately I have been sleeping on my left side, which for me faces the middle of the bed.
Yeah.
And Christian's like, you've been sleeping so much on your left side lately. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I feel better. And he's like, well, that's because, you know, your digestive system. And he's like telling me this whole thing. I'm like, oh, wow, you're right. Like, I didn't even think about that. And he was like, because he was all worried. He's like, because he'll sleep towards the inside of the bed. Like he flip flops. And he's like, I'm just worried that I'm going to like mess you up. I have this thing. I can't stand it if somebody breathes on me. Like I hate it. It's so gross. I don't know what it is. It freaks me out.
It's not only you. It's okay. Just know that I don't. Yeah, no.
No. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. But I just thought that was so funny that Christian was like, that's because of your digestive system. Like, it's, you know, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sleeping. So if you, I would say, so if you see me on video, you'll see that I'm like rotisserie chicken here recording.
I've been moving more
because I move constantly. So same thing in the sleep, but I've been a lot better. So I fall asleep usually on my right side, and then I go to to sleep on my back, and then I end on my left side.
That's funny. I do my stomach, and then I go to my left side.
I used to sleep on my stomach, but then I don't know. I just go through these phases of things.
Yeah.
So when I am sleeping on my back, and I also, from talking to other, clients and friends, they have had similar situations that when they're on their backs, they have more of an experience in the dream state or psychic attacks. So I have to, if I'm going to sleep on my back, I have to sleep with my hands in a particular position where I have my right hand on top of my left, but my fingers are like connected. My thumbs are connected. Okay. So like if you're watching, yes, I'm top. So if you're watching the video, my hands have to be like this over my chest. For everybody else, right hand on top. It has to be right hand on top of the left. And the fingers, the thumbs are just kind of like whipping, and I have to place them over my heart. And that's the way that I know I will not have any psychic attacks or anything else. Like I sleep. It has become a little bit more uncomfortable lately because somehow I think I've been stress sleeping, where I lift like my elbows, and then my husband is like, you're taking more than, we have a pretty big bed, but it's just like he likes to be a cuddler, and I'm all like, give me my space. So that's the way that I have to sleep in order not to get that. And then I can switch, like release my arms and go onto my left side. But this had helped me with sleep paralysis. So since I was a kid, I would struggle with sleep paralysis, and I really didn't know what it was. So because scary. It's because nobody was talking to me about it. So recently my kids were talking, especially my oldest, saying that he had experienced some sleep paralysis. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to talk more about this to help him with that part. So he said sometimes his eyes are open. He's just kind of like breathing and praying until it passes. So I was like, no, there's way faster ways for this. But, he's a cool kid, so has no time for mom. But doing what I realized when I was probably, I want to say like 15, I was sleeping at my friend's house, and she, beautiful white bedroom, big windows. She had like a balcony. And I remember I'm sleeping like on what is it called? The air mattress on the ground. And it must have been 8 a.m. or something. Like she's still sleeping. Like I was just about to wake up, and I literally saw like this energy form over my body with like their palms on my chest looking at me. And I can't wake up. And I was like, oh my gosh. So in Mexico, they say that the death that kind of gets on top of you, se te sube el muerto. So I freaked out. And the more you freak out, the less you can wake up. So, so the key to all this is like, do not freak out. And even with psychic attacks, they want you to freak out. So now when I sleep, and if I get, even with my hands like this, I have experienced a few times where I feel like the sleep paralysis has come in, but I'm able to like come out of it a lot faster and acknowledge it. That's just what is happening. And the times that have happened, I realized that I was too lazy, that the night before I didn't do my nightly ritual. Also, I have to see what's happening kind of organically outside with the energy, with the moon, with the cosmos, because it does have a lot of influence in our, everyday life, but also in our dream space.
Interesting.
So psychic attacks can be sleep paralysis.
Oh.
So it can be, psychic attacks can be being really cranky and not knowing why you're so cranky.
So where do they come from? Is this like somebody else coming at you? Like what is the attack? Like what entity or whatever?
So my understanding of like psychic attacks, for this is just me, what I feel, it's, how can I put it? So people are like, okay, so is there somebody trying to do quote unquote black magic on you? Yeah. It could be. Like that could be part of it, right? But usually it's at an energetic point. Okay. So most of the times when I feel them, I feel that psychic attacks is because you're doing good and there's like a darker, nefarious energies that are like, oh, she's a light worker. Let's try to mess with her type of energy.
I've had I think I asked like a pastor one time about this kind of thing. And the explanation that I was given was that it's the demons.
No, the devil. Yeah. Which is, I'm all like, yeah. It's like, sure, that can be too, that it can be different things. I think it's mostly what you believe, but okay, if the devil is trying to attack me, again, I have a thing with the devil of like, created by religion for fear, but it doesn't mean that there's not bad energies or totally bad omens out there. They are, but it's like, would I resonate with like a demon? Like that's not really, I resonate mostly with somebody who's doing nefarious work that could attack me, in the dream space, because most of the psychic attacks happen to people that are very conscious of energy and again, I'm going to use the word awaken, right? But they are like, okay, I understand vibration. I understand frequency. Yeah. So I'm going to do, how can I be of service for the planet, for other people to do the same thing and understand that they are in control of their lives, not what the outside world is telling them. And to be more autonomous in their energy and empower in their energy. So those are the people that actually experience psychic attacks. People that are like just everyday, just living life humbly and all that, and they experience these type of things. It may be a demon. It may be just,
their perception. I get
different.
that. Okay.
I feel like that because the types of psychic attacks I've had have been, I know I am somebody who has fought in like the cosmic realm with my tools and things like that, and I believe in that. So it's going to be a different representation for a different person.
Got it.
So that's just my understanding, like where it's coming from. It can come, somebody who's highly religious, who this happens to them, of course, they're going to think it's demon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
That
and somebody else, it can be, black magic. Yeah. Absolutely. They're not going to be like, okay, maybe the government is trying to get into my sleep.
Like it's the government.
Is trying to get into my sleep, which, I always told my husband, I'm like, yeah, they can do all they can do, but they can never touch my energy. And I had actually a conversation with a friend semi-recently, which is like, well, now they're trying to get into, and like you mentioned before, there was this conspiracy that they're trying to get through the sleep state and, simulate the waves. But even in all that, and it doesn't matter how much AI we have, they will never be able to replicate the soul. Yeah. So I'm all like, that's always like what I'm tethered to. Yeah. Like that's my safe spot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Nothing can take away the human spirit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, definitely. And with sleep paralysis too, like there's so much there. Like, there's a lot of there's super similar cases. So people that experience sleep paralysis, it's just like my research off of the internet that I've noticed that they see similar things. Or they see shadow people, or they see certain things, right? Which has now been, it's all theorized, but like they're trying to say like different governing entities are trying to say that it's just a hallucination that's consistent because you're in this like waking dream state kind of thing, that you're hallucinating and it's not real, right? Like you're not really seeing entities. You're not real. This isn't a real experience. You're dreaming just awake, like a waking dream.
Oh, I know. But no, these are real experiences. So I always talk about the experiences and dreams. Dreams, I had a dream, it was scary. I had a dream, it was this and that. But then if you're giving in-depth detail, that was an experience.
Yeah.
If you can be a very vivid dream, but if you're giving deep detail and you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your gut, you were there.
Yeah.
That was an actual experience. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's something that I really try to navigate, like the experience, especially like with sleep paralysis, in something that's super prevalent in my line of work is abduction cases. And, I've studied Dolores Cannon's work like extensively and read all of her books and the whole 9 yards. So I find all this super fascinating to understand that there is a huge correlation between sleep paralysis and abductions, like alien abductions. Yes, I know. Now I sound like a lunatic, but
no, but it is true.
It's true.
It is absolutely true, because I know one of the things that I learned a long time ago, it's like, okay, with sleep paralysis, you're like, okay, I can't move. So we vibrate at a certain frequency, and then entities like, say, angels, archangels, ETs, right? They vibrate at a much higher frequency.
Yeah.
So we go into sleep paralysis, and we have, especially if you want to be abducted, and I know there's tons of podcasts out there, go listen to them. They that you have to kind of let yourself be in that state so that you can match the frequency and you can kind of rise above and they can take you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't want to be abducted and you still get abducted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
and that's where like the lack of memory comes in.
It is. But one of the other things is like, when you are in sleep paralysis, most of us, or a lot of people, maybe not, like, D, you're such a chicken, but we freak out because I'm like, okay, I know I'm in sleep paralysis, but as soon as you relax, and that has happened to me in the past,
come out.
As soon as I relax, you make that turn, and it's just like, it becomes peaceful. If of course, what is abducting you or where you're going is hopefully in your best interest.
Yeah.
But okay, anywho, sorry.
No, you don't be sorry. Okay. So I know there's like a million abduction stories. Obviously, if you want to learn more about that, maybe we'll do a whole podcast episode on abductions, because I could talk about this for days. So obviously, like the most famous abduction story is the Betty and Barney Hill story, which I'm not going to talk about. But they went through hypnosis regression to remember what happened to them on two separate occasions, separated rooms. So it was two people, husband and wife. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Now I'm talking about it. But they went through hypnosis regression.
Who are these people?
Yes, so fascinating. I won't tell you the whole story, but basically the outcome of it was they went through hypnosis regression separate.
Okay.
They both told the same story separately twice.
Wow.
So, and they were under, like, they don't remember like what they were saying, whatever. It was all recorded, and you can probably find the recordings somewhere. I'm sure there's like 700. Go on Discovery Channel, like, or Gaia Network. Like, there's like a million, or just the internet. But so that's like the earliest case that I can remember where hypnosis played a big role in these, like, this regression work to help, bring forward these less lost time that happened. So I'm going to share a couple of stories that I found. I went down a Reddit hole. And then I'm going to share a personal story of mine as well around this sleep paralysis abduction story. Okay. So I'm going to keep everything anonymous because I don't even know these people. I didn't ask their permissions, but they posted it on Reddit. So it's free game, right? Okay. So
thanks for listening.
This is a story
Don't forget
about,
to follow us on social media.
Basically, this guy
What Is
came
Your
on Reddit
Podcast?
asking like, hey, did I get abducted? Okay. So I'm just going to start reading it. So I live in the Sierra Mountain range of California. On the night of January 6th, I went to bed around midnight. I slept almost 12 hours. Somewhere between then and 11 a.m., I had an extremely vivid dream, something I'm prone to, but had not experienced in about a week. On the contrary, it's been pretty much nothing this week, just blackout type sleep. I'm pretty familiar with astral projection, lucid dreaming, vivid dreams, and even sleep paralysis, but this was not comparable to either of those things. There was what I considered to be a lucid, vivid dream, something I had expected for the majority of the day. The dream went like this. And he put dreams in quotations. I was standing outside at night, not alone, but with a few family members. We were gazing up at the dark, cloudless sky, and this pyramid-shaped spaceship, and that was also in quotations, flashing gold lights appeared in the sky. We watched in awe as this pyramid ship seemed to unravel like a cinnamon roll, the outer layer coming undone until it folded into this boxy,
Thanks for listening.
hexagonal
And don't
type
forget
shape.
to follow us on social media at Witches Who Podcast.
Lit up the mountainsides, and I lucidly noticed the light reflecting off my mom's cheekbones. Before I could question what would happen next, if this was the end of the world or something, the thought came to me, the way the light shines upon the mountains is no different than the light against my mom's cheekbones. We are all one, unified. Pyramid ship still in the air, the world visually swirled around and spiraled all together. Then everything went back to normal and I woke up. Physically and mentally, I felt refreshed and a bit perplexed. My ears were ringing, but otherwise just thought it was a crazy dream. I went on with my day. I told a couple close friends, but besides that, I felt a sense of comfort in knowing that we are all one, unified. That word continued to ring in my brain throughout the day. Fast forward several hours, I retold the story to one of my dearest friends. That's when the flashbacks started to roll in. I remembered that sometime during these dreams, I had been looking down and saw stitches in my lower right quadrant where my right ovary would have been, or might be, or would be. The visual was quite graphic, and I must have asked telepathically what this was all about. I remember a split second of seeing large black eyes and yellow golden tones of either the being skin or just the environment. It was so quick I can't even describe much more than that, except the message I received back was something along the lines of, surgery on you, you will forget this. That's all I remember, but it gives me the chills reflecting on it now. It says I'm not bullshitting, sorry. And I'm genuinely looking for some answers. I want to believe that this was just a dream, but I'm also fascinated by ET phenomenon since I was a child, but I've never dreamt of anything like this before, anything alien. And then it says, I must add that the general tone of it all didn't seem malevolent. It didn't seem malevolent. It did not leave me shaken or scared upon waking. In fact, kind of the opposite. I'd been healed or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is so interesting. First, I was like, is this Mount Shasta? Where are they? Because there are so many things that happen in Mount Shasta, but also a lot in the California mountains, just in general.
Totally. But
with as you were reading it, I was like, I could see it, and it just feels so real. And so the Grays perform surgeries. Yes, that's why you said the big eyes. So that is super consistent. And I was like, and they're like they have no emotions. So it's not like, hey, we're going to take care. You're going to be fine. They're just like, yeah, you're having surgery and you're going to forget about it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that she felt it. Wow. But that's
super
fascinating.
Interesting, right? And I've also heard of like, when you start to panic in that sleep paralysis moment where they basically send you like this euphoric feeling. So I'm curious, like if that kind of happened to her without even knowing it, like she when she said like unified, like I just got this overwhelming feeling that we are all one because she's like made these connections. I'm wondering if she was like starting to like, her heart was probably increasing and they're like, oh, we better flood her with some vision so that she like chills out.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. Dang. Okay.
Isn't that super weird?
That is super weird. What's the other one you had? Now I'm all curious.
I have one more.
Okay.
I love Reddit. Okay. Okay, so this one says, I am Hispanic and Native. My spouse and I live in Arizona, and this happened in 2019. One night I went to sleep and I dreamed that an old USSR officer had me handcuffed. He proceeded to inject me with something in a syringe in my inner wrist against my will. Upon waking up, I hear a loud, weird computer sound beep. It beeped twice. It sounded similar to an old UFO movie sound effect. I proceeded to wake up for work and I didn't have time to talk to my spouse about it. About an hour into my shift, she calls me and tells me she swore she saw an alien in our backyard that was at least 8 feet tall. In Arizona, a lot of the homes have cinder block walls, and in the backyard for privacy, we had that style of yard. She told me the alien was looking over the wall and she was terrified. A few years passed and I heard that story about the Hispanic family in California or New Mexico. I can't remember seeing the same type of thing. And then they just go on to say, like, I'm pretty sure that this happens a lot and people don't really talk about it. And then he says, I don't recall seeing any aliens when I dreamed that, but I heard a loud electronic door sound, which in my mind, I knew I was leaving a ship. Isn't that interesting? So that one's a little bit less insane, but
yeah. No, but a lot of the times, especially like New Mexico and Arizona, like places like that, it happens so often that they're not
the desert, right? It's like Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico. It's like this whole like belt.
There's like a ley line there.
There's something. Yeah. It's super fascinating.
The grid of the weird.
Totally.
And the fascination.
Yeah. I love it. But it's so interesting. Like there's so many consistencies in stories too. And then going back to like sleep paralysis. So my very first experience with sleep paralysis, I've only had it a couple of times, honestly. But when I was a little kid, I've told the story before where my bed would shake.
Oh, yeah.
So I had the very first time that happened to me, I remember waking up, not being able to move, and my bed was shaking.
Wow.
And my eyes were open. I remember I could see the ceiling of my childhood bedroom, and I could just feel like shaking. And I remember I could move my eyes, and I remember, and I don't know if I was dreaming this or if it was real, but I remember looking to my left. No, it was the right, because the way my bed faced towards the window would have been the right side, and seeing like 2 gray aliens at the posts of my bed. Oh, yeah. And then I just knew that there were 2 more on the other side. So at each post of my bed. And then I would freak out. And then finally I would awake and I'd panic and freak out. And then, that was years and years and years and years ago. And then when I went through some shamanic training and shamanic experiences, I kind of regressed back to that place on accident, where I saw this entire like thing unfold of if it was a vivid dream or an abduction. I don't know. I think I told this story before on the podcast, but I definitely want to do some regression work and kind of explore that a little bit.
I think we've all been abducted and not knowing
I have another story. I think you're right. Okay. So I got really I'm obsessed with aliens. I'm not going to lie. Like this is my bread and butter. I love this stuff. Okay. So I started doing this really fun meditation, which I adapted, which is interesting, off of the CE5 protocol, if you've ever heard of it.
You told me about it.
Yes, with Dr. Stephen Greer, you can go, you can buy his app and he'll take you through the whole thing. He has a whole community of people.
I know, I need to get that app because you told me about it.
So there's like lots of different stuff to this, where it's like different frequencies, different tones that you play or whatever. But I just really liked the meditation. It's literally just kind of like astral projection, where you see yourself where you are, and then you just kind of float up and you see your body, the room you're in, the town from a bird's eye view, the city, the state. You keep going up till you see the country, the whole globe, and you keep floating all the way up to into the cosmos. And it's almost like you're projecting your energy and your frequency out into the cosmos, and then you hone it back in. Yeah. So then it's like you're basically being like, hey, here I am. This is where I'm located. Come find me, kind of thing.
But see, that freaks me out because
I did this during one of my group classes, and I wasn't like, oh, I didn't say this is what we were doing or anything. And I adapted it. Like, that's a very basic, like, there's so much more to it, right? So I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, I really liked the way it made me feel. It just really gave me a good sense of grounding, like, felt really good. Okay, well, I don't remember why, but I was super late leaving the studio that night. I think I wanted to clean or something like that. And I remember it was like, I think it was like 9:02, like something very specific like that. Okay. And the way the studio works to get back to my house is you have to make a U-turn so you go in the right direction on the highway. So I'm sitting at the light right there about to make the U-turn, and I drive an automatic car. And I remember the light turned green. I glanced at the clock, like it was like 9:02, 9:04, something like that. And I went to make the U-turn, and all of a sudden my car stalls. Well, I had my sunroof open, and I remember right before my car stalled, I looked up at the sky and saw like the stars. And I remember specifically seeing like a reddish colored star. And my car stalled, and then that was it. And then all of a sudden my car turns back on and we start driving again. And the second that I like started driving again, I looked down at the clock and it was 9:24. Oh, or 9:22. Somewhere like that. I lost 20 minutes. Yes. Oh. And and to this day I am baffled because I'm like, was my clock
I know
wrong?
Exactly where this happened to you. Too,
yeah, you can like see it, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh
I'm like,
gosh,
what? Like, am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Did I really lose time? Did I really or did I just look at the clock wrong and my brain associated, or does it, because I really badly want this to happen to me, am I just making it happen? Like,
no,
you know what I mean?
No,
yeah.
no,
So
it
to this day,
happened.
I'm still like, what the heck? It was
No,
20
it
minutes.
happened.
I know it was 20 minutes.
Yeah. Time is an illusion, everyone.
So
Time does not
interesting.
exist. Oh, that
So
gave me
weird.
the chills.
Yeah. Which is less of like sleep paralysis and more of just like something I did to myself, but super interesting.
No, but thank you for sharing, because that was incredible.
Yeah.
Just
Super fun.
Yeah. Just to share. There was something else. Okay, intention. Then
The parallel lives thing.
The parallel lives. Oh, let me talk. Yes. Okay. So
I'm like, I've been waiting a whole episode for you to talk about
this. It's fascinating. So Shelby and I, and of course I lost it. But Shelby and I were talking, about this episode, and I mentioned, so I have some sessions that I do with this fabulous woman from Argentina on family constellations. And one time she recommended this meditation for the dream space, which is to speak with your quantum double. And I am one that naturally drinks water and at night, but it's part of the process. So I want to share with you about this, because it's fascinating. And I'm like, I want to try. Yeah. And then I'm going to give you all a little tip if you want to do it, how to do this.
Doing it tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And again, one of the things as humans is that we're very inconsistent and have no discipline. So it's important to keep consistent. Okay.
Have no discipline. Sounds about right.
On this side, which I will add to the show notes so everybody can this, I found this, and this was one of the ones that, had it concise information, and it was one of the better ones. But it's connect with your quantum double while you sleep using dreams to change your life. It says, can you change the future? Yes, changing your future is possible. Have any of you heard of Garnier Mallet's doubling theory? This concept isn't just a theory, it's a practical tool you can use to change your life. And here's the best part. We all have another self. Some call it a guardian angel. Some of us call it, our higher self. But Garnier Mallet calls it the quantum double. Always by your side to warn and help you. So again, the power of the mind is the most important things, right? Sometimes if we think we can, we will facilitate things to our environment to tell us, yes, we can. If we're thinking, no, I can't, we're going to see more evidence of that.
This kind of sounds like he's describing your higher self.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just, first, they're just talking about like the power of your mind and realizing that, we're our greatest ally or our worst enemy. And everything really depends. If we know how to control that, the quantum double theory can really work, but we need to control the mind. That is a monkey brain. So if you believe something isn't for you, you won't make it. You won't make any effort to achieve it, basically on that. But what is really important, and we know, and if you are listening to this podcast, you probably also have Instagram and all the things where all the gurus are telling you speak positive, right? Be more positive. So affirmations of speaking positive to yourself, like today will be an excellent day. I'm happy and healthy. I will achieve all my goals. I am worthy and capable. Things along those lines. But yes, it's important to remember that today's thoughts becomes tomorrow's reality. And how many times have we heard that? Also because we're a vibrational beings. So always making sure that they're the best. So Garnier Mallet's on shaping the future. According to Garnier, we have a body designed to project ourselves into the future, to observe it, adjust it, and return to live it. So we can go see ourselves, change anything that is wrong, and come into this life and live it. This process happens while we sleep. During sleep, we can anticipate dangers, erase them through intuition, and improve our future outcomes. Living in two realities, real time and quantum time. The doubling theory explains that we exist both in real and quantum time. Quantum time is an imperceptible dimension filled with multiple potential outcomes. Your quantum double memorizes the best potential state and shares it with your physical self in real time. So the good news here is that you can choose which potential future for your experience. The key lies in working with your quantum double while you sleep to receive advice and solutions. Dreams often tap into different time periods, hence the phrase, sleep on it.
Oh.
You know? Mm-hmm. So it's using your dreams to change your life, heal illnesses, eliminate worries, strengthen relationships, breaking back habits. However, to restore order in your life, you must first change the way you think. Your quantum double acts only when you ask for help and trust it. So John Pierre Garnier Mallet's who is he? So he was born in France in 1940 and holds a PhD in fluid mechanics. And in 1988, he developed the doubling theory of time and space, the doubling theory of time and space. His work explains how our physical body interacts with an energetic wave body that transmits and receives vital information, which I totally believe in.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so how the energy body works, it operates during the sleep, traveling beyond the physical body to gather information from the past and future. And this information helps us survive and thrive. The water in our body, which makes 60 to 70% of us, stores the vital information. We know water communicates.
Whoa.
So that's why it's so important.
My whole body is all chilly right now.
Oh, I know. How to control your thoughts before you sleep. Exactly 1 minute before falling asleep. Maybe this is why it didn't quite work for me, because I would fall asleep when I was trying this. Exactly 1 minute before falling asleep, you must take control of your thoughts. While we can control dreams, we can influence the moments leading up to the sleep. Again, this is just a theory because we know
don't doom scroll before you go to bed. Got it.
Yeah. When the conscious mind begins to fade, this is when you connect with your quantum double to seek solutions for your problems. Garnier Mallet says, your present is the realization of a potential future that has already played out in another dimension.
Oh my God.
Be mindful of your thoughts. They shape your future. As he advises, never think of doing to others what you wouldn't want them to think of doing to you. So
it's the golden rule.
Yeah. So important things here is to give your quantum double literally clear instructions. To harness the power of the quantum double, you have to, 1, clarify what you want to achieve. So literally telling it very specific. And each night before you go to bed, drink a glass of water. Water acts as a conduit. They're conductor of information.
Yeah.
Focus and visualize your desired outcome. Mentally talk to your quantum double, explaining the steps it should take. Use clear, positive language. Visualize the actions your quantum double will take to help you achieve your goal. So let's say if somebody's like, well, I want to become a writer, right? And it's like, I want to become a writer, but I'm so scared. And like, you see yourself giving that, your book, pitching your book, being at a publicist's offices, being, chosen to be published #1 New York bestseller, like seeing yourself, which I love. Fall asleep with these images in mind, repeating the process each night until your desire becomes a reality. Pay attention to the signs. There are no coincidence, only meaningful outcomes. So in essence, we create the idea of what we want to achieve, and our quantum double does the work on another plane. When we wake up, we receive certainty and certainty that the path is already set. Something really interesting in all this as I'm reading it is that I do something called dream flow. So it's as a Reiki master practitioner and just energy worker, I work with people in their dream space. So the way is if you were having like a energy work Reiki healing session with me, I can do that while they're sleeping. So so right now I was reading, I was like, yes, because I give them an intention for them. Like I meditate and I receive an intention for them specifically, like an affirmation or a little statement. And then I ask them that before to go to bed, they drink water and they recite their affirmation and go to bed in that state. And then I work with them through the night.
Wow.
And in the morning, I have all the information from them and I'm able to rely it. And they wake up feeling refreshed and amazing. And it was a great session. And
That sounds amazing.
and I'm sleeping and they're sleeping.
Yeah.
So I do this through the night.
What an amazing one job to have. Two, well, that's like, that takes all the like what a time saver.
Yeah. So it works a lot for a lot of my clients because they have busy lives. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I leave them voice notes and they feel amazing. So, but right now when I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that a couple of things here, like the water and the intentions were part of.
Yeah, you were
things
doing
with
that
them.
like totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would love to leave all of you with this of the daily exercise to connect with your quantum double. Decide what you truly want. 1, 2, drink a glass of water before bed. 3, visualize your glow clearly. 4, communicate your instructions mentally to your quantum double. 5, sleep with the vision of success in your mind. And 6, trust the process and watch for signs.
Okay, I'm so going to do that. I'm going to write all that down and do that every single day.
I know. I love this.
You know what's funny though is as you're like talking through this, I think I've said this before. We are lazy at heart. At least I am. That I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. How can I like this higher self of mine or this quantum double has already done all the work.
Yeah.
They already know the outcomes that are going to happen. They already know. Why can't I just jump to that timeline instead?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's the action I want her to take for me. I want to just jump timelines. I'm going to bypass all this crap. I don't want to learn any more lessons. I just want to jump to the end.
Oh my God. It's so funny because I was telling my husband something similar and he's like, honey, it's all about the journey.
Stop telling me that.
I know. And I was like, when did you become me?
Right.
Just like, go away. I'm tired of this journey. Kidding.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, that quantum double, I was like, I'm definitely going to try it again.
Yeah, that's fascinating and resonates a lot for sure. The quantum double, higher self. Yeah, because even in like past life regression, even Dolores Cannon, so QHHT is something that I also do. Her quantum healing hypnosis technique is at the end of sessions or towards the end after we do this whole soul journey, we talk to your higher self and we get permission to talk to your higher self, which is essentially, it's your quantum double. Yeah. Like we are communicating to your quantum double through you as the conduit. Yeah. So fascinating stuff. Cool. I love it so much. Well, this is probably the world's longest episode because I can't shut up, but thank you for all that fun information in this conversation. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in and listening. And just as a reminder, we are always taking listener stories. So please send us your stories, all of them, abduction stories, sleep paralysis, weird, crazy dreams, ghosts, literally anything you could possibly think of. You just want to tell me a story of something weird your dog did. Cool. Send us an email, witcheswhopodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Please follow us on social media.
Yes.
Witches Who Podcast, Instagram, all the places. Mostly Instagram.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Mostly Instagram.
We'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, like, share.
Yes.
Rate us.
Every Monday I do an oracle card reading, free oracle card reading on Instagram at 3:33 Pacific time. So all you have to do is give us a follow, comment over, drop a heart emoji during the live, and I will pull a card for you and see what the universe has, what advice it has for you.
I love it.
Yes.
Sweet.
Well, thank you everyone so much. Thank you, Shelby, for another amazing conversation. I just learned so much, and feel free to reach out to us at any time. We always love to hear from you. So tune in, stay curious. Till next time. Besitos. Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Witches Who Podcast.